Here we got another parallelogram. This time we're showing how they can show the height on the outside of the parallelogram. We need to go to this side. They can also extend the side and go straight up to the vertex on the other side. So our height in this one is 4. Our base is just this part of the parallelogram, 12 meters. But our height is on the outside here. They can do that. They can show it that way, 4 meters. So we've got our base and our height and all the sides. So we're ready to do our area and perimeter. Area is the base, 12 meters, times the height they're showing out here on the outside, 4 meters, or 48 square meters. The perimeter, 2 times this side, 2 times the 12. And this side, not the height, 2 times this side, which is 5 meters. And this comes out to 34 meters. Not too bad. Let's take a look at the next one. Take a look at this picture. I can see the base here is 21. The height is missing. Let's see. So we can see this part of the triangle is 6 centimeters and this is 10 centimeters, and we're missing the height. We're going to use Pythagorean's theorem again. Just to remind you, we have the right angle on this side also, so this is a right triangle. The two sides that make up the right angle, this one and this one, are the legs. So one of our legs is h, the other one is 6 centimeters, and the hypotenuse is 10. So when we set up our Pythagorean's theorem, we've got these two leg sides on one side of the equal sign to the second power. So we have this side, h to the second power. This leg, 6 to the second power, equals the hypotenuse to the second power, 10 to the second power. We're ready to go ahead and solve this. I like squaring these first. So 6 squared is 36, and 10 squared is 100. Then we'll get rid of the 36 to isolate the h squared term by subtracting. We end up with h squared equals 64. Now to cancel out the square, we're going to take the square root of both sides, and we get h equals 8 centimeters. So the height here is 8. So we'll go ahead and mark that down here. Now we're ready to find our perimeter and area. We have the base, we have the height, we have both of the sides. The area equals the base right here, 21 centimeters, times the height we just found, 8 centimeters, which comes out to 168 centimeters squared. The perimeter, 2 times one of the sides. Here, this side is 21, 2 times 21. Then times the other side. Again, I keep saying these sides just so you don't mess up like I did earlier and use the height instead. So the other side of this parallelogram is 10. Perimeter, we're going around the outside, so we use the sides, not the height. And we end up with 62 centimeters. Let's try one more, maybe? Yeah, let's go ahead and do one more. Here we've got one. I've got some of the stuff uncovered here, but we'll talk about it. On this side, let's see, we can see this side is 6, so this other side is also 6. So we can tell our base is 6. We're missing our height, but if we look at this right triangle now, the only side we know here is this hypotenuse, and it's 4. So there's no way to use Pythagorean's theorem. You have to know 2 sides to use Pythagorean's theorem, and we only know one side of the right triangle. So it looks like we're going to use a trig function. We know this angle right here. So to remind you about setting up a trig function, first you're going to label the sides with respect to this angle. We know over here, this longest side is called the hypotenuse. It was 4. Over here, opposite this angle, is this side right here. So there's our side opposite, which is that height we're looking for. So the last side is the adjacent side. Then we know we have to have two of the sides for this fraction over here. And how did we figure that out? Let's see. Well, we got to use this side because this is what we're looking for, h. So we're going to use opposite. And we have to use the side we know, that's the hypotenuse. And if you recall, opposite and hypotenuse make sine. So that's why we have sine here. The sine of the angle we're using is 60 degrees, equals the opposite side, which is h, over the hypotenuse, which is 4. Then to solve this, we put it as a proportion, put it over 1 here, and cross multiply. We have this cross product is 1 times h, or just h. That's why we have h over here. The other cross product, we take 4 times the sine of 60. So remember to put the 4 out in front times the sine of 60. So this h is solved for. It's all by itself. All we have to do is put this into the calculator. Remember, you must be in degrees. And puts 4 sine of 60, and it comes out approximately to, if we round it to the nearest tenth, 3.5. So now we know our height here is 3.5. Now we got our base and our height, and on both the sides we're ready to do area and perimeter. The area equals the base, which is 6, times the height we just found, 3.5, which comes out to approximately 21 with that rounded number for the height. And they didn't actually put units in here, so in the answer they're just saying units, and this is area, so it's units squared. The perimeter, 2 times this side, which is 6, plus 2 times this other side, not the height, plus 2 times the 4, which comes out to 20. Alright, in the next video we'll look at the last few examples in your notes, and then you'll try your practice problems.